Good afternoon friends, myself Manish Kumar, presently working as a lecturer in architecture at Government Polytechnic Patiala. So my today's topic is isometrics, and students of architecture must know about about isometrics and how to draw isometrics. So let's start straight away, and what are isometrics will be explained in the examples also. So let's take one example. The simplest object all students are familiar with is cube. So let's take a cube. First of all, we will draw orthographic of cube. Orthographic means plan, front elevation and side elevation. Before starting isometric, students must be familiar with what is plan. This is plan. This is elevation. And this is side elevation. Okay. I am not going into detail. You must be aware of what is plan, what is front elevation and what is side elevation. So to draw isometrics, we must have at least plan, front elevation, or for complicated objects we must have a side elevation. So the isometric of the cube will be drawn like this. First of all, draw a straight line with parallel bar. This is horizontal line, right? We will mark the points of in the plan also, say A, B, C, D and D dash. Say we will start from point A, mark here point A, right? Then draw a line at 30 degree like this. This angle is 30 degree for isometrics, and this line may be representing, say, length of object. Draw another line here. This is again 30 degree. This may represent breadth. Breadth of object, and draw a line perpendicular at point A like this. This may represent height of object, right? So if we want to draw the isometric of a cube, say size of the cube is say 5 centimeter. All sides are of 5 centimeter. So what we will do, we will take from here and mark 5 centimeters, say 5 centimeters comes to here. This line represents length of the cube, which is 5. So mark a point here, A to say B, and this distance is 5 centimeter. Breadth of the cube will be again 5 centimeters, say from A to D. Mark breadth on breadth line. So this is again A to D, again 5 centimeter. Right. Similarly, height of the cube is also 5 centimeter. Say this is also 5 centimeter. Right. So mark height here. Right. Now we have length of the cube, breadth of the cube, and height of the cube, all marked on length, breadth and height lines. Now how to complete the drawing? Okay, draw a line parallel to line AB from this point, like this. This AB and this line are parallel. Similarly, draw a line like this, which is again parallel to AD line, right? So this height basically gives point A, and say lower point is A dash, so we'll write A dash, B dash and D dash. Now here we have A and A dash. From B, draw a line like this, straight. This line is basically perpendicular to this line. This B dash is perpendicular line, right? From D also draw perpendicular or take a line straight vertically up. This will give us D, right? Say for locating point C, we will again draw a line parallel to AB or this AB line like this, and draw a line parallel to line AD from point B like this. So we'll here get point C. So in this way we simply completes isometric drawing of a cube. We can draft this. With dark pencil. Right. Object line should be the darkest lines. So this way we get isometric drawing of a cube. So from this we can observe that what are isometric drawings? Isometric drawings are basically 3D drawing. We can say these are 3D drawings. Next, this drawings shows us some components of the length of the object, some components of breadth of the object, and some components of height of objects. Shows components of length, breadth and height, right? Third, or we can say this isometric drawing gives us, say this is part of front elevation, this, say this arrow represents front elevation, this arrow represents here idea of side elevation, and this arrow represents idea of a plan. So we can learn about plan, elevation and side elevation of the object. It gives us idea about front elevation, side elevation and plan of the object. It gives us idea about plan, elevation, and side elevation. All right. All right. So isometric drawings are basically 3D drawings. It shows some components of length, breadth and height. Right, this way we are seeing length, this way we are seeing breadth and height. It gives us idea about plan. This arrow, this surface gives us some idea about the plan, right? And elevation, this here is elevation part, and side elevation, this arrow from this side represents, say, side elevation. So the students of architecture should be able to draw isometrics from these orthographic projections, or they should also be able to draw orthographic drawings from the given isometrics, right? There are some more things, like all lines which are parallel, like this AB and DC are parallel. In isometric also these lines are parallel. Say this is AB and this is DC. This and this. We also observe in isometric that parallel lines remain parallel. This is also important. All parallel lines remains parallel. Like AB is parallel to DC. Here this is parallel, right? And BC is parallel to AD. This BC is parallel to AD, right? All parallel lines remains parallel. Next, all perpendicular lines remains perpendicular, like this. This A dash edge, in actual A and A dash is perpendicular. So this line is perpendicular here, right? And BB dash is also perpendicular line. At BB dash is also making 90-degree angle with ground. That means this is also at 90 degrees to ground. And DD dash is also at 90 degrees to ground. That means all perpendicular lines remains perpendicular to the ground, and which can be drawn using parallel bar and set squares. We can keep our parallel bar here like this and set square like this. So this line is drawn by vertical edge of the set square. So this gives us brief introduction about the isometrics. What are isometrics? These are actually 3D drawings and very easy to understand by a layman. Layman can't understand this drawing. This is orthographic drawing. Only technical persons like engineers and architects can understand this, right? And this can be understood by everybody. Everybody can say that this is a cube, right? Now let's take one more example, very familiar. Say we want to draw isometric of a brick. For drawing isometric of a brick, first we should know the orthographic of brick, or plan, elevation and side elevation of the brick, which I will draw very quickly. Say this is plan of a standard brick. Say this line represents frog. Say this is 9 inches. Say this is 4.5 inches, right? In elevation I will draw quickly, as you all know what are plan, elevation and side elevation. Guidelines. Frog will be dotted in elevation, right? And in side elevation also, like this, 45 degrees. I am not going into detail how to draw orthographic. You all know how to draw it, right? Say height of the brick is 3 inches, standard brick. Now how to draw its isometric again, step by step. First step is draw a straight line. Start drawing in guidelines only. Say blue color represents guidelines, right? Say we start from this corner, right? Name this corner. Say this is again say A, right? This corner is B, this is C and this is D, right? Say we start from here and this point is say A, right? Start by drawing 30-degree angles, both sides, like one angle here, 30 degrees. Second angle towards left hand side, this is also 30 degrees. And one vertical line, right? This will represent, say, length, this will represent breadth, and this will represent height of the object, right? So, first say we want to represent length of the brick. Length is, say, 9 inches. From A, mark 9 inch, say here. So, this point will become B, right? Now, mark the point D, which is AD represents width of the brick on breadth line. Say this is 4 inches, right? Now, we have point B and point D here, right? We can mark height of the brick on vertical line, height line, which is 3. Say this is total height of the brick, which is 3 inches. Now, as we know, parallel lines remains parallel in isometrics. So, this line AB is parallel to DC, right, and AD is parallel to BC. So, we can draw a line parallel from height of the brick like this. This line is parallel to line AB. AB is a edge of a base, and this line is a edge of a top of the brick, right? Both base and top edge of the bricks are parallel, so we can draw a line parallel here. Similarly, for this height, right? Now, draw vertical line with the help of T square and set square from like this. This line is drawn vertically with the help of T square and set square. Right? This line is drawn with the help of T square and set square, which is actually making 90 degrees with this line. This line is vertical, so it will remain vertical. Similarly, from D, draw vertical line like this with the help of T square and set square. It will intersect this line here and this line here. Then, top edges of this plan AB and DC will be parallel. So, we can draw parallel line from here also like this, and one parallel line from this point parallel to this line like this, right? This way we complete isometric drawing of brick, right? So, this is 9 inch, this represents length, this represents breadth, and this represents top of the brick. So, how to draw frog, right? Say this is 1 inch, say 1 inch is from all side, and rest is frog part, which is depressed part. How to draw this? Just from here mark 1 inch, and from here mark 1 inch, right? Right? Actually, we have marked this point. On line AB, we have marked this point 1 inch, and this is 1 inch, right? As this again, these are again parallel lines, right? So, frogs, this edge is parallel to line AD, and this is also parallel to line AD. So, we can draw parallel line like this, right? For drawing these lines, this and this lines, basically these lines of frogs are parallel to line AB. So, these can be drawn again parallel from here. Mark 1 inch here also. If this is also 1 inch, mark 1 inch here, and from here 1 inch, and draw parallel lines like this. right? So this will give us top of the frog. And how to mark depth of the frog? Say depth is half inch. Say this depth is half inch. So as per statement from isometrics, vertical lines remains vertical. So depth will be visible only from this corner like this. Draw a vertical line downward. This line is also perpendicular to the ground, and mark say half inch here and draw a parallel line like this, right? This represents depth of the frog. So this way we have completed our isometric drawing of brick, right? Now draft it. For drafting we will use dark black pencil, right? Draft all the edges. First we will mark this with dark pencil, then we will dark this edge, then we can dark this edge also, we can dark this, all object edges, right? These all lines are actually parallel in object, and in isometrics also these lines are parallel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All these lines are parallel in actual, and in isometrics also they are parallel, right? And second set of line is all lines like this, right? All lines parallel to this edge. First say this edge dark, then this part of frog, then this, and this, and this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All these lines are parallel to each other, right? Now rest of the lines are vertical lines, which can be drawn with the help of parallel bar and set square like this. Use some good dark pencil for this, right? And for frog part also we can draw this line with the help of set square and T square, right? And this line again parallel to this line like this. So this way we complete isometric drawing of a given brick. We can write here, always give heading isometrics, isometrics of brick, right? We can dimension also. For dimensioning, draw line like this, and this edge like this, and draw arrows here, right? And write here say 9 inches. For breadth, extend this line like this, right? We can write here say 4.5 inches, right? For height, extend this line like this, and we can write here say 3 inches. See? This way we complete isometric drawing of a brick. So let's take one more example, little complicated than this. So let's draw isometric drawing of a victory stand, right? First imagine the dimensions of the victory stand. Say In plan, we have like this, say this total is 6 feet and this here is 2 feet, right. This is first position, say this is second position and this is third position, and in elevation we will see like this. Right. Say we have this 6 inches, this height is 1 feet 12 inches and total height is say 1 feet 6 inches, right. This is orthographic drawing of a victory stand, and we can draw side elevation also. I will draw quickly as we already know how to draw this. Right. From this we have drawn front elevation and side elevation is from this side and plan is from top. Right. How to draw its isometric? Again, first step is understand this, or we can draw even rough 3D sketch of this also. Say I draw quickly rough 3D sketch. Victory stand is something like this. So this is rough sketch. You should be able to draw rough sketch also. This will help you to draw isometric. Right. How to draw isometric systematically? First start with guidelines. Say blue lines represent guidelines. I will draw a horizontal line like this. Right. On this I can take, say this is my point A, this is my point B, this is my point C and this is my point D. That means ABCD represents the extreme edges of the victory stand, right. Say I start from point A, say this line represents point A, right. First of all I will draw line for marking lengths of the object, right, at 30 degree, this angle is 30 degree. Similarly for making breadth part, I will draw again next line which is at again at 30 degree. For drawing heights, I will draw a vertical line from point A like this. This line will represents height of the object, right. How to draw its, how to start drawing isometrics? There are many ways. One best way is, first imagine this as a cuboid, right. Clear? We can imagine this like this victory stand like this, right. Enclose this victory stand in a cuboid, right. First we will draw cuboid. So size of the cuboid will become length 6 feet, mark 6 feet to the scale, right. Say we are using 1 inch scale, 1 inch is equal to 1 feet. So mark 6 inch here, right. Then this will represent point B. Maximum length of the victory stand. Width of the victory stand is say 2 feet, mark 2 feet here as per scale, right. And height is 1 feet 6 inches. So mark 1 feet 6 inches to the scale here, right. We have 3 edges of the cuboid. From these 3 edges, we can quickly complete the box, parallel line, parallel line, vertical line, right? Again parallel